This is TV Black Box, bringing you the inside goss from the TV industry.
Hello there and welcome to this special edition of TV Black Box, the podcast. This week we're talking nothing but the 7 Upfronts. I'm joined by the head of programming from Channel 7, Angus Ross. Hello, Angus.
Hello, how are you?
Good, thank you, mate. Big important note for our listeners. We are recording this podcast before I've seen the big Upfront presentation. I've seen the important information, but I haven't seen the sizzle yet.
Roger that. You'll have a great time this afternoon.
I'm looking forward to it. Judging by everything I've seen, the big takeout for me seems to be a brand new free-to-air channel.
Yeah, we've got a new partnership with NBC that's delivering us a new multi-channel, 7 Bravo, that'll be, we think, powerful both on broadcast, but particularly interesting for our for 7 Plus as well. We think it'll be quite a driver for that. So very pleased. I've complained to James Warburton for a couple of years now about being one multi-channel short versus our main competitor. So finally, thank you to James. He's delivered something to even us up. I mean, as you would know, we have the most powerful suite of multi-channels, and this is just going to make it that much more powerful. Again, this new channel is one that really we're kind of viewing it, if you like, as the female equivalent of Mate, a real power with women under 50. So yeah, very excited by 7 Bravo and our bigger overall deal with NBC. Great to be in partnership with them.
Well, another channel I think is just great. That's my big takeaway. What do you feel is the big headline coming out of the Upfronts?
Look, along with Bravo, I think it's our continued investment in a lot of local content, and with particularly, I think in Q1 we're coming out big with Australian Idol, throwing a big proven format up against Married at First Sight. So we're very excited by Q1.
That's going to be the big first salvo to watch, really, as we see Australian Idol go up against Married at First Sight. Marsha Hines is back. When was that decision made?
Marsha's always been part of the show. It's funny, a couple of people have asked me that, and I've always said, there was a lot of talk about our judging panel when it was released, but I always like to say, look, don't judge things based on one part of one show on one network. There was always more to reveal on this show, but yeah, we're very happy with how things are sitting, both with the judging panel and with the contestants on that show, and we're delighted with Marsha as well.
So have you seen any of the first cuts of the auditions?
I've seen just some raw auditions. I mean, it's really, which is really encouraging, because this show's really about those diamonds in the rough, and watching people that often overused word a journey as people transform into stars. But the best thing about this show is bringing back live television, and with this show, as you very familiar with, you get to see more performances from these artists across the series. So we're really excited about bringing back live and finding some real undiscovered talent with this show. But yeah, it's a big swing for Q1, but I think there's still a lot of positive nostalgia about this show.
I'm shocked Australian Idol hasn't been brought back earlier, to be honest. It's such a big brand, a heritage brand in this country.
Well, I mean, as you know, we tried to bring it back a couple of years ago, but COVID kind of crucified those plans, and it was always one where we felt we have to come back with the live element of the show. I mean, it's interesting in the US, when Fox cancelled cancelled the show, and ABC then picked it up a couple of years later. It's now ABC's most demographically rich show on the network. It's their number one show in 18 to 49s. Just finally outpointed Grey's Anatomy on their network. So, I mean, look, we're very, very positive about it. We think it's a good counter-programming alternative in that Q1 versus MAFS and versus Survivor.
Well, it's interesting you're doing something very different to Married at First Sight, a dating show, although that's dating show on steroids and doesn't fit into the traditional Bachelor type of dating show. My take at the moment is that dating shows are off the boil. So I'm intrigued by what you're doing with Big Brother singles. What's the thinking with that?
Look, I think Big Brother is a show that's always skewed pretty young. And the thinking behind
You're saying I'm too old for it, Angus.
No, I view you as young. I think so. So what we're doing with this cast is really leaning further into that young skew. I've seen the cast, and they're fantastic. I think we're going to get a lot of great content out of them. Very, very charismatic people. Certainly not just a bunch of shallow airheads or anything like that.
That's good.
Really pleased with the cast. But the show is still Big Brother. I don't think you're automatically thinking it's I wouldn't move it fully into the dating category.
I'm a little concerned, I will be honest, when I saw the singles, the application for singles.
Yeah.
Look.
The one thing I will say on Big Brother is I'll be really interested to see how the as live version goes in the UK.
That was my next question.
Next year. That is. We couldn't, due to the schedules that we had to produce this next series, consider that. But I'll be watching with interest, because it's certainly something we would consider going forward. So
okay, so this is an interesting point, and I did want to ask about that, and I probably spent too much time asking about Big Brother, to be honest. But let's just say
I like it. You're passionate.
Let's just say this season doesn't do great numbers, or does on par with what it's been doing, and Big Brother goes off in the UK with the back to the original format. You would consider going and trying the live 24-hour turnaround?
Yeah, I mean, that would obviously have to be for calendar year 24, but
of course,
absolutely would do it. So I'll be watching with interest.
I don't know if I'm hoping for success or failure for your next series, mate, to be honest.
Well, the House of Love will be coming in the back half of calendar year 23. I mean, obviously we've got a bit of flexibility with it because it will be on the shelf and ready to go. But it'd be a back half play for us.
And let's be honest, though, no matter how long, because I think shooting starts at the end of this month, no matter how long they've got it, even if they've got a year to edit it, they'll still be doing it up until the last minute before it goes to air.
Yes,
we know.
Yes, you're correct.
I
just looked at the delivery schedule, so yes, you're correct.
One of the big ones that you have poached, of course, is the TV Week Logie Awards. What was the thinking behind Seven getting onto that one?
Look, I think it was just opportunistic. When we saw the ratings for it, we inquired. That it was free. It was a free ball. So we started chatting and took it. I mean, it's you have to say it's it's a pretty good night of ratings, pretty good night of entertainment. I mean, I know you've been vocal in saying that there's many things that can be changed for the Night of Nights, and I think
me vocal. I'm shocked, Angus.
So I think we're in agreement. I think we're viewing it as an opportunity for a freshen up and a real celebration of Australian television. Maybe some new categories as well, to embrace the way that people are now watching things. But no, we're really excited by it. But it was just it was available, and we were surprised when it was available. So we stepped in.
Yeah, well, good on you. I think a lot of people at Nine are sad to see it go. I'm interested to see what you guys do with it. Do you know which state it will be in at the moment?
Not at this point. I think that's still ongoing.
Yes, you do. You're not going to tell me. That's what I'll take from that.
Where would you like it to be, Rob?
Do you know what? I actually don't mind, because I think Melbourne, traditional home, has always had a good place there. It would be, the industry is housed in Sydney, so it makes a lot of sense for it to be there. And the Gold Coast has provided a great venue. I thought the Logies last year, on the red carpet at least, had a fantastic vibe because everyone was glad to be back. So I actually don't think it matters where it is. I'm just intrigued, Angus.
Yeah. Well, all will be revealed soon.
All right. I look forward to you giving the exclusive to TV Black Box. All right. True crime has always seemed to be doing well. You're bringing the Claremont murders to us.
Yeah, this is something that it's been on the boil for about, I think, 4 years or so, even before the case was solved. I first spoke to Rory Callahan about doing a mini series on this, because it was, out of I guess it was probably one of those last untold stories of true crime that in Australia that hadn't been, that a drama hadn't been built around. So yeah, it's been a while in development. It's finished shooting. I just watched episode 1 last week. I'm seeing episode 2 this week. It's really fantastic. It's very sensitively dealt with, but it's it was Australia's, I think, longest running unsolved serial killer case. And I always find it fascinating. The police work involved in trapping these people and hunting them down, and as they narrow the focus, it's a rip roaring ride, and obviously
so
a very tragic story.
Is that a documentary series, or is that a scripted drama?
Scripted drama. Yeah. So from Screen Time.
Yeah, fantastic.
So that'll come next year. Yep.
And $1 Million Island, how is production going on that? There was a bit of a delay for a couple of issues. Yeah,
there's been some pre-production issues on that one. It has been slightly delayed. It's still delivering when we require it for next year. I'm
excited about this concept. This is a huge concept. I love it. So there's $1 million up for grabs.
Correct.
Everyone has a $10,000 band, don't they?
Yes.
How do they get those bands? Can you rip it off them? Can you, or is it a series of challenges?
Murder people. No, there are various challenges, various ways to win these bands, and when you lose your band, you are off the island. There are some challenges where one person might be eliminated. There are some challenges where a whole lot of people might be eliminated. But no, we're really excited about it. Eureka have done a lot of work on the format to adapt it for this market, because we're rolling the format out quite differently to how the show was done in the Netherlands. But we're really happy with the place that it's in, and yeah, we're excited to get going on it.
You're bringing back comedy with We Interrupt This Broadcast. We haven't seen comedy for a long time on Australian television, really.
No, we've We Interrupt This Broadcast. It's being made by Helium, Mark Fennessy, and it's just trying to. it's trying to look at some different things to run at 7:30 rather than the total reliance on strip reality. I know
Yes.
you're there. Hey, man after my own heart. There you go. So we're trying a couple of different things like that. It's also the old rule: put on what's not on.
Yes.
And comedy's always going to be subjective, but we think with 30 to 40 sketches per show, you're on to the next thing before you know it. So you're going to find something to give you a laugh. But again, that'll be coming in Q1. We think it's interesting, again, counter programming against maths, against Survivor / Doghouse, whatever 10 are going to be running, and just trying something a bit different. It's the same thinking behind the 1% Club, which is the UK comedy quiz format that Jim Jeffries is hosting for us. Just trying some different things to try and break up the reliance on strip.
Which I think is fabulous, genuinely, because it's getting to that point where we really rode the wave of reality TV at 7:30. It doesn't seem to be doing the job anymore unless it's something that really connects with viewers. So I commend you for trying things differently. I have advocated that 10 should move their 8:30 programming to 7:30 to give themselves a chance. Have you been paying attention in Gogglebox? Could be star performers at 7:30.
Yeah. Look, I know you've discussed it extensively on your shows. I mean, if I had the money, I'd love to be doing a lot more 9 p.m. programming, trying different things. But it's a balance across all of our content, from the entertainment content to news to sport. I'd always ask for more money, but we're a business. We have to operate within certain parameters, and we do the best with what we've got.
Of course, and obviously, though, if it does change where reality is, and if you're not having to do as much reality because you're doing different things at 7:30, how far would you like original programming to go into the night each night? Like, would you like to get to 9:30? Would you like to get to 10:30? Would you like to have a stable place for the latest? What's your feeling about that?
Look, I think you probably that traditional post-reality slot, whether it's 8:30 or 9 o'clock. I don't think it's probably sustainable to be doing local stuff beyond that, unless you were looking at a chat show of some sort, say at 10 o'clock or something like that. Do you
think there's a market for that in this country anymore? Or have those days gone?
I don't know. I mean, you would, you'd need a pretty big personality, I think, to be able to hold that. A lot of those, if people tend to work across different mediums and things as well. If somebody, I'm just making things up now, but if it was somebody from radio or that sort of thing, they're probably. A lot of people, you get paid so much money on radio, they don't want to do television. But
that's becoming the hard thing, isn't it? Because the finances are different compared to radio and television, because radio is very
different,
talent driven, where all the money is up front in the personalities, whereas television, it takes a lot more people to get ideas to fruition.
Absolutely right. And at the moment in the Australian market, the inflationary pressures on productions are pretty extreme on across all aspects of producing. So we've got to kind of try and manage that as well. But your buck is certainly not going further at present.
I just want to touch on Animals Abroad with Dr. Harry. Dr. Harry's back. We all love Dr. Harry. This is a series about transporting animals around the country, around the world, is it?
Yeah. It's from beyond. Look, I love animal shows. I think that's on the record.
That is on the record, yes.
So no, it's a cute little show about kind of weird and wonderful animal transportation issues. You don't think, particularly with now the world firing up again with COVID, but there's so much transportation of animals, like between the UK and Australia and that sort of thing. It just gives an insight into that world and the heartwarming reunions and that sort of thing. So yeah, just a different take on animals.
Yeah, always good to have Dr. Harry back.
Yeah, right.
Streaming, BVOD.
Yep.
Where are we up to with that? What's happening on the 7 Plus? There's a bit of, in what I'm seeing in the releases, there's a bit going on there. You're trying to carve out your own special place, but there are some big announcements you're making today.
Yeah, well, we've touched on NBC. So along with the Bravo content, there's also going to be a lot of the traditional NBC drama content now available on 7 Plus. We're getting access for broadcast also to the NBC network series and also cable series. And their movies and so forth as well. So it's a big NBC package that we're really happy to be back in partnership with them and maintaining a content pipeline. It's interesting with this the US stuff. I know you guys talk about it a fair bit. Like why are they running these shows at 9 o'clock or that sort of thing? The overnights never paint the full picture of this sort of programming.
I agree.
Because they consolidate massively over the 7 days, both on PVRs, but particularly streaming. And on the streaming side, on nearly all these shows, we've got all the previous seasons as well. So it just drives. But the key is it's a driver to 7 Plus. In most instances, these series, and obviously they're cost effective from a versus local production, and that's all part of the balance. But it's absolutely key to have pipelines to these US series, both current and library, along with your tentpole programming that, of course, drives a lot of minutes onto BVOD, but maintaining cost-effective programming pipelines to high-end US drama series and so forth is really vital. So that's what we've done with this deal.
7 Plus, could it ultimately become a paid-for streaming service? Is that the migration, or will it just remain free and do what it does as an extension of free-to-air TV?
Look, it will always remain a BVOD service, but I wouldn't rule anything out with future partnerships and how that service may evolve.
I asked that question because obviously people look at what's going on, and we see 10 has Paramount Plus, 9 has Stan, and it literally just occurred to me the other day thinking about it that you don't necessarily, from 7's point of view, need to start a whole new streaming service, but of course there are rumours about Peacock and 7. If you want to reveal anything here on TV Black Box, Angus?
No, I don't think there's anything to reveal. We are in partnership with NBC, and we're excited to see where that goes over the next few years.
But my point that I was getting to before that cheeky side tangent was that there is no reason why 7 Plus can't just develop into that space. You don't need a new brand to do it.
What do you mean?
To become a paid-for streamer.
I think you would. I don't think you could turn 7 Plus into a paid-for streamer without a massive US content pipeline accompanying it.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah.
Understand. Yeah. That makes perfect sense. Just before we wrap up, Angus, the Upfronts is mainly about advertisers. Yes, the media love to get to see what's going on and get an insight. But what is your message to the advertisers at these upfronts? Why are they choosing Seven?
Look, Seven will be number one in 2022. And of course, we're aiming to be number one again in 2023. We're always aiming for more consistency across our schedule. And we think we have a bunch, along with our returning tentpoles, a bunch of really exciting new formats that are going to resonate with audiences. So trust us, we're going to grow. And of course, with Seven Bravo, finally, equal footing.
You seem very pleased about the Seven Bravo, and I did start off with that, so we've come full circle.
Well, look, the thing is with that Bravo content, it strengthens Channel 7 and it weakens the competitor. So it's win-win.
Absolutely. All right. Well, congratulations on everything that's coming. I'm really intrigued about what you're doing at 7:30. I think there's some really good ideas that's happening there, and you're taking risks. We know sketch comedy is a risk, and so I agree.
It's always, look, our schedule. It's always going to be a balance of proven and new formats. That it's all about managing that risk. As we've seen, if you just start barreling into launching new formats on the assumption they're going to work, you can end up in big trouble very, very quickly. It's hard. New formats are hard to launch. If suddenly you've got new formats 5 nights a week and none of them are working, you're in a world of pain.
Absolutely. Well, good luck tonight, although by the time everyone hears this, it will have happened. So I hope it went well for you.
Hope you enjoy it.
Thank you very much. And the TV Black Box podcast will return to normal next week. Angus, thanks for your time.
Thanks, Rob. Talk to you soon.